outpouring of love. Are like half of you like, who the heck is this woman? So, you know, the video is meant to give you sort of a precursor of what it is that I do. I'm the 3-time winner of the Food Network's Cupcake Wars, but thank you. And you know what? I'm going to stretch that 15 minutes of fame. I'm trying to stretch it to 45 minutes. It's really hard to do, but as you can see, 3 weeks ago I was on Katie Couric, so that's a pretty good thing. Do you guys even know who Katie is? Yeah, okay. So I wanted to, this is sort of a non-traditional, I'm very non-traditional when it comes to talking about business, and I wanted to start out by answering one of the questions that probably half of the attendants here today asked me. They said, how is it that you look like that and you make cupcakes? That's what they said, they wanted to know. So I'm going to tell you, okay, here's the deal, right? There's a couple things that are really important if you're an entrepreneurial person and you want to make a happening, create a happening with your idea. There's a couple things you have to do. One is you have to tell yourself the truth when you know it. That means that you have to be honest with yourself about what your strengths and weaknesses are, okay? If you can do that, then the product that you're creating or the item that you want to sell will sell better because you're behind it. But you have to believe in yourself and tell the truth about yourself. This is this is called working on the inside and the outside to get, it's all part of the deal, right? Okay, so you have to tell yourself the truth when you know it. So when I was your age, that was quite a while ago, I was 165 pounds. I was a size 12. And I was a little boozy, like, I'd go and do like a little party in the night on many nights of the week, and, that's a lot of calories, so it would be like maybe 8,000 calories. But I also ate everything in sight. There was nothing about moderation. I'm just telling you the truth because some of you are like, well, how is it that she's so little? So I have built my entire career on this idea. It's not about sacrifice, it's about size. And for me with food, and since I'm the peddler of sweets, and I also have a cookbook about making meals in the cupcake tin is a half a cup of food. So if I was still 165 pounds and I was trying to sell that idea to you, about sacrifice, not about sacrifice, but about size, you would look at me like I was nuts, right? Okay. So how did I get rid of all of that weight? I got rid of it because it's 90% what you eat. The rest of it's exercise. And so if I eat everything that I want in a smaller portion, then I get to have all the flavors that I want, and I'm not overly indulgent. Okay, so I just wanted to answer that. I know it's a very strange way to start out the whole thing. But if you look at yourself and you say, I've got something to say and I have something to sell, you better own it. You better be honest about it. So if you have a fabulous mind, okay, then you better sell that fabulous mind. And how are you going to sell it? You've got to come up with a couple different ways in which you can embrace the fact that you have the ability to make things happen. I figured out how to make that all happen. So for me, it's never been about a cupcake. It's not about a cupcake. When I walk into a boardroom and sit down and start talking about cupcakes, I walk into a business meeting, I'm like this, okay? I kind of maybe look like I'm going out, to the club, but I show up like this. Some people take me seriously and some people don't. But let me tell you what happens when I start to talk about my product and where the product has gone. When you're the 3-time winner of the Food Network's Cupcake Wars, that's a really good thing, okay? So in terms of taking that idea of making cupcakes and making it happen on a national stage with a television show and getting a book deal, those are all part of brand recognition. That's how you build a brand. You guys are here because you are starting something in the journey of creating what it is that you want the future of your life to look like, right? I mean, that's why you're here. This school is all about people who are thinking outside the box. It's also, from what I'm told, a college where a lot of people are maybe first-time attendees of university. I was the first-time attendee of a university in my family. I put myself through 6 years of college. I didn't actually graduate. My parents gave me $600 when I was 16 years old and said, "See you later." And I built my entire business on hard work and the idea that I could create something, make something happen. There's a lot of stuff to cover, but I think the most important thing, you know, people want to know, like, how did you get from creating a cupcake store to getting on television? Well, it wasn't about just creating the cupcake store. It was the backstory is really that I was a chef for many, many years and had a successful business in Los Angeles. And when I had that business, I was consistently committed to making really good product for people who made lots and lots of money, lots of very pretty people who were on television and movies. And those people, I wanted what they had. I wanted what they had, and I would say to myself, well, how come they have that and I don't? I'm pretty too. I want that. This is why I'm saying that I had to get honest with myself. I didn't have someone paying my way. I had to figure out how to make this happen. How am I going to make this happen? Because I realized very early on in my life that I'm the only me that there's ever going to be. It's not like another one of me is going to pop up somewhere. So if this is it, then I better get busy figuring out how I'm going to make this work. Because I got to pay my bills. I'd like to go on a trip. I'd like to be able to go and buy a nice pair of shoes. I want to go buy maybe a purse, or I would love to be able to have an opportunity to play in that business world, right? Well, if all of those things are important to me, how am I going to make those things happen? So I had to get honest with myself. And I was not supposed to be the girl that got to walk down the red carpet and have my picture on the billboard on Sunset Strip. I wanted that to happen. I mean, who doesn't want to be recognized for their hard work, their talents, and their ability to make things happen? Who doesn't want that to happen? Well, if I'm not making that happen for myself and recognizing it for myself, in myself, and celebrating it in myself, then who's going to do that for me? Everybody else is busy doing that for themselves. They're not going to spend time and energy making that happen for me. So if I wanted to play in that playground, now this is during a time there was no social media. I'm a lot older than you guys. I could probably be your mama. So there was no social media. There was no Facebook. I didn't have a website. My business was purely based on word of mouth and delivering product that was consistent every single time. The product that I delivered was not just food. The product that I delivered was not taking advantage of you, not asking you because you're a movie star for an autograph and a photo, not asking you because you're a producer of a hit movie, can I have a walk-on role? Or you created a new hit television show. Will and Grace was one of the biggest shows that I cooked for. I didn't ask them to put me on TV. I cooked for them for 10 years. They never once offered to put me on as an extra. Any of the staff that I employed, if they came to set with an agenda, here's my script, they were fired on the spot. I figured out that what my job was and how I was supposed to be of service and how I was going to get my recognition, and I didn't know when that was going to happen, but I had to let go of what the outcome of that recognition was going to be, because otherwise I'd be bogged down with jealousy and fear and envy. I had to figure out that my job was to be of service to you through food. Okay? That's what my job was. So I don't need to get into a whole spiritual thing, but that's a whole other conversation. I had to get right sized with who my employer is and what my job is supposed to be, and how can I do the best job that I can do and have fun at the same time. And so I created this niche for myself where I could dress however I wanted, because hey, you know what? I sell food. Here's marketing 101 for me with food. Okay, I sell food. When the Cupcake Wars called me on the phone, it was the most bizarre thing that ever happened. I was in Waterford Lakes underneath a hairnet for 18 hours in my store, creating my company concept. My company did not come with a manual. It's not like I bought a franchise. I created it. From the ground up, I baked those darn cupcakes. Now I have 75 employees. But when they called and said, we want you to come and be on the show on the Cupcake Wars, I said, you're serious? I was cooking for Jay Leno like 3 months ago, Jerry Seinfeld, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and you're calling me now in Waterford Lakes? This is nuts. That was my opportunity. What I'm saying to you is that if you are worried about the outcome and you're not living in the moment of what it is that you're dedicated to making happen in your own life, when the phone rings, you will not have the cojones to do the job because you'll be stuck in fear. Oh, well, wait, my hair needs to grow another inch. Or, oh my gosh, I can't show up for that because I got to go get this done. And oh my gosh, I'm not ready. You see what I'm saying? Moments like that happen. Seize the moment. I'm all about risk. I don't really care what you think about me. You know why? Because I know that I deliver the product. I deliver it on every single level that I say I'm going to deliver it on. Now, when I wanted to be that girl on the billboard, walking up and down the red carpet, that was a very grandiose idea. I think it's great to have a grandiose idea. But the difference between having a grandiose idea and making it happen and not making it happen is whether or not you have the ability to back it up, right? You all know what a dilettante is, somebody that doesn't actually have the wherewithal to make anything happen. So for me to walk down the red carpet and be the next it girl was kind of a ridiculous thing because I didn't put any time in to make that happen. But I put 27 years into making this happen. So time takes time. There's no way that you can shortcut that. So when the Food Network called and said, we want you to be on the Cupcake Wars, I knew that this was my moment to seize the opportunity. They said, we want you to send us a video, just a very quick clip of yourself in front of the camera. Well, the phone didn't have a video on it. And I'm not the most technically, brilliant person. So I said, well, how am I going to get the video from here to there without mailing it in the mail? This is crazy, right? Somebody said, you got to go get one of those flip cams. So I went and got a flip cam and did a little video. And this is what I said to the person that was holding the camera. I said, just scan up and down my body, okay? I want you to scan up and down my body and then stop on my face. So they did. I turned around, I did a little twirl, and then I looked at the camera, deadpan, and I said, do I look like a cupcake baker? I mean, seriously, there's no competition. The competition starts and ends with me. I had a cupcake, I bit into it, and I said, that's super delicious. And they called me right away. So using irreverence to get what you want comes from having security that you can back it up. So I don't care what you're selling. The other thing that sells, and if anybody tells you that it doesn't, then they're lying because all you have to do is turn on the television, look on Instagram, go on I don't really go on Facebook, but I have a bunch of Facebook stuff, but it's not something I spend a lot of time on. When you're standing in the grocery store, you go to Walgreens and you look at the magazines. What sells? Sex sells, right? So, sexy, sex, not the physical act of sex, some of that too. I mentioned to somebody the other day, I said, I'm going to go and speak at UCF. Should I use the term gold digger? Because I think that's such an awesome thing for the school, and they told me it had a bad connotation, so sorry I mentioned it, but it does sell, sex does sell. So you have to figure out what it is that you're selling, and you have to make it sexy. And then you have to sell it, right? You have to make it happen. The first year of my business, and somebody needs to cut me off when it's time to be cut off because I'll just keep talking all day. The first year in business, okay, I opened my business in Waterford Lakes. There was a worldwide economic crisis. The newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel, the front page of the business sections, there was a picture of me under a hairnet selling cupcakes, and an article next to me that says, World Financial Crisis, but cupcakes are soaring in Waterford Lakes. So the first year of business I sold $650,000 worth of cupcakes. And I thought, wow, that's good, I'm going to break even. Well, my store cost me almost $500,000 to build out. So, you know, I didn't really need the money in order to pay for my babies to eat and live in my house and all of that. When you open up a business, you know, there's some baby steps that happen in between. Let me back up. Well, I don't want to forget that thought, because the second year after I was under the hairnet for 18 months, that's when the Food Network called, and my business went from $650,000 to almost $1 million more. So it was maybe 1.5 in the second year. So it was a huge increase, and it's exponentially gone up from there. I also wanted to answer the question somebody asked me about franchising, and you franchise, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I own my units, they're corporate owned, so I own my own stores. So that means that I get to keep everything. If you franchise, that's another way that you can do it. But then if your individual units do really well, then you're sharing that pie with other people. I don't want to share the pie, I want to keep it. I also want to babysit my stores. I want to be in control of how those cupcakes taste. Because my cupcake is on the line, you know, on purpose I put my face on the back of that cupcake truck. If you have a face that you're happy about using, you better use it while you can. Okay, because it's not always going to be like that. Okay? It's not funny, you laugh. But here's what happens, okay? And I'm jumping all over the place. This is why I can get away with whatever I want, because I'm making cupcakes. So I can say whatever I want, I can show up and do whatever I want, I can be whoever I want, I can do whatever I want to do, because I make cupcakes. And that takes the sting out of it. Light and fluffy, I'm light and fluffy. I see you laughing over there. Okay, you laugh all you want. I have a cookbook and I was on TV. What was I saying over there? I was looking at you and I forgot. It was pretty funny what I was saying. I was sounding so good. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, that's right. So, if you have a face, you better sell it. If you have a cupcake, you better sell it. And you know what my cupcake is. It's not the one you put in your mouth over there. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? You have to know what your product is. For me, it's never been about cupcakes. It's about what cupcakes can become. So I don't care what it is that you're creating. A couple things that were amazing, these wonderful girls over here created, and they won the contest for their beautiful apparatus for the female genitalia to be able to go pee-pee potty, and I think those girls are amazing. So you know what? It's not about the cone that they created, it's about the happening that they're creating, and hopefully a revolution that they're creating. That's what they're looking at, and they're thinking about the bigger picture. So it's not about the cupcake, it's about how you can make it into a bigger picture. And so then, because I do what I do, and on Cupcake Wars, when I was on that show, it wasn't about making sweet cupcakes, it was about making something savory, which is food. That's when the publisher called me and said, we want you to write a cookbook. The cookbook is about meals made in the cupcake tin. So you guys all go to potluck dinners, right? And when you go to a potluck, you get all this amazing food, and it's in these gigantic casseroles, right? And there's usually a big shovel associated with it, and you're talking with your aunt and your uncle, and you're eating, and you're talking, you're having so much fun, and you just keep piling the food on your plate, right? Piling the food, you got the sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on top of them, and you're just piling food, and you're eating, and everybody's eating a lot of food, and you're just having so much fun. And then you go sit down, and you go back to the buffet, and the casserole dishes are now like scooped out of, and there's brown parts that are there, and it's kind of juicy, and it looks kind of unattractive, right? But we do it because it's fun, and it's social, and it surrounds, it's the story of our life. It's what we do. All of us do it. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to come up with a new way of looking at the potluck and call it a potlucks, L-U-X-E. So I trademarked potlucks. And so around the country, I have people sending me photos of their potlucks parties, making meals in the cupcake tin, which are the same meals that were made in the casserole, but they're made in a cupcake tin, and it's a half a cup of food. You get what I'm saying? Now that for me is exciting and inspiring. How do I make money on that? That's the question. How do you make money on that? I can tell that you're starting to get bored because you like the sex talk, but you don't like so much this part, but I'm just going to tell you this. You have to come up with whatever idea that you come up with. You have to figure out how you're going to make money. Because if you're going to work as hard as you're going to work, which you are going to work 5 times harder than anybody else that just decides to sign on to a corporate job and get a regular paycheck and show up and get health insurance and everything's taken care of, and every year, a couple of times a year, they have a review and they get a raise, maybe, if they're lucky. So how are you going to make money on it? My idea for the meals made in the cupcake tin is that I think it would be really exciting if they were sold in the freezer section nationwide. You can go in to the freezer, you could buy half a dozen or a dozen savory bites made in the cupcake tin, right? The tin would be perforated. It could go from the freezer to the oven. So if you didn't want to cook all 12 or all 6, you could snap it, perforate it, only bake the amount that you want. But that doesn't happen by me going and hiring a manufacturer to make it unless I want to empty my pockets of my cash. The track that I'm on, and now I have to reevaluate it, because when you're on television and you get a book deal, it's sort of like in the world of food celebrities, when you look at people who are on television that are in the cooking world, what happens to them is they end up in Target and Walmart. And for me, that would be incredible. To end up in Target and Walmart with product, with spices or pans or baking equipment, that kind of stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? Frozen foods. But there's a piece there that is a vicious little piece that has to be part of the puzzle, is that you have to get your own TV show. Honey, I'm getting tired. Okay, I'm getting tired, and my children are 9 and 10. I really don't know what's going to happen next. I can still want that to happen. I still have people, they just pitched me to Oprah Own Biography is doing a whole new food genre, Bravo, a Lifetime. If the people that are pitching me, and they're in a position of being able to create television shows, and they're smart people, if they can't make it happen, well, I'm not going to jump up and down and hoot and holler and try and make people do something that isn't naturally happening. So if that's where I am, then I have to get to a place where I'm in acceptance. Because here's the other thing, when you own your own company and you're an entrepreneurial spirit, it's so awesome. But you're driving the train. You're the one making it all happen. So you have to surround yourself with a team of people that all have their beautiful agenda of making that common welfare happen. And sometimes it's I'm a little tired of being the cheerleader, you know? But I still look good in these leather pants, so that's all that matters, right?